So we're gonna bring the meeting to order. We're gonna review and approve the minutes for June 14th meeting. Good job putting the date on there, so. Oh, you almost missed the meeting, Zach.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it.
We're on to open the public, so.
I'm right on time.
All right,
You have a beer, water.
water. We'll cover that in the fast.
That's awesome.
Okay, so anyways,
Make a motion to approve the minutes of June 14th, 2023.
I'll second.
okay, any discussion on it?
Yep.
Somebody saw it, I think so.
Okay, all in favor of the minutes for June 14th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, approved. Adjustments to agenda, do we have any adjustments to agenda? I just had one thing to add, which we were gonna, the sign,
The speed sign?
speed sign on
Okay.
Minard Hill somewhere, we were gonna
Alright.
sneak that in there and talk about that.
Put it under Knotweed or highway? Or
Highway.
highway?
Always fun.
I know the gentleman here has something to speak about that I don't know
Oh.
we'll be able to get covered until open to the public.
Okay,
I don't know if we want to bump that up or.
we have a busy schedule.
Yeah.
In regards to, what,
I asked Dan, he didn't think we could catch it under anything else.
So I live on the lake, 29 Hosmer Brook, 70 Hosmer Brook. My neighbor John Lord hasn't, I don't think he's been in the house for at least a year and a half. There's people that I'll call squatters that have literally they're every weekend plus some more time.
okay, so let me stop you right there. So this sounds like open to public is
That's
where we're gonna have to cover that.
Yeah, so I don't know if we want to,
Fine.
we got a busy schedule, so I don't know if we want to open the public up or keep it back where it is,
For right now,
keep it where it is.
where it is, okay. Okay. So, that was it? Okay, nothing's there, okay. So hazardous mitigation, review, adoption, which you have in front of you, which has been updated.
Yeah, they made all the
Version.
changes.
Gotcha.
They corrected a few more things after it was, they had 4 select board members down. Just a couple things I sent back to that Paul and said I could fix it on the Word document. So we did that, so.
Okay, so we're in good shape. What do we have to make a motion? Do we, what do
Yeah.
we have to, okay, a motion to approve the
And then everyone's gonna sign that. first.
mitigation
This copy.
Yeah.
review, which we talked about it, and we've both, I think we've all been in to review it, right?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, we went over it, okay.
In light of recent weather events, the hazardous mitigation plan is relevant.
Yeah, we're
Has
lucky
it-
that we didn't.
So then I would need a motion to
I will make a
open a
motion
motion
to approve the town of Groton all hazard mitigation plan as adopted.
adopt, okay. Second,
I'll second it.
okay, now discussion on that,
So, I guess my question is considering we had a hazardous event in the last
correct,
3 days,
yep.
have we validated that our hazardous mitigation plan
Is up to
was
date?
well, not up to date, but was successful, was sufficient, was not sufficient?
So the hazard mitigation plan, correct me if I'm wrong, Carrie, is not the local emergency action plan. So your local, your LEMP is what you put into place.
Yeah.
in
When an
case. So
emergency.
the hazard mitigation plan is, these are the 12 or 4 things that are the biggest
Yeah.
risks to the town of Groton, and flooding was one of them. So, and, yeah, so.
So, again, I guess the question is, that from here, I think we can adopt it, however, I think the question is then, we obviously have an obligation with putting this in place to ensure that we are mitigating that hazard appropriately. So, anyway, I think Mike had a
What
question.
this does, it's like a FEMA document. This once a FEMA was reviewed.
Okay,
What this does is it's for our funding funding formula. maybe?
Reimbursement?
Yeah, for reimbursement, and thank God this was not as bad as it could have been.
Well, so we'll have some more discussion on that, which
Yeah.
I can kinda talk about when we get to highway and stuff, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So having this allows the percentage of reimbursement to be higher.
Yeah.
Than
So we
if
should
don't have
get it approved.
it. But we check almost all the boxes, I think.
Yep.
This is like
Okay.
the fourth box.
yeah.
Okay, so,
All right.
Motion's been made.
all in favor? Any more discussion on it? Okay, all in favor of adopting mitigation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, so that's
I'm gonna sign on the back of it. I'm gonna flip the front page over.
Carrie, if you can just scan that, I don't think you have the guy at the state who has to send.
Yeah, I have Paul,
Brian McWaters, I think is the one.
well, I talked to Paul Luciano, he said to send it back.
To him? Okay, perfect. Yeah, that works.
okay, cool. Sierra Club, Catherine Arnold.
Yeah, hi. Basically, so I'm the park interpreter at Groton Nature Center for the summer. I've
Okay.
never been to Groton, Vermont, so I'm just like thrown in here.
Well, you're in Groton.
Yeah, you know what, yeah, now I am, so.
Okay.
But basically, I'm just here because I'm volunteering with the Sierra Club, and they have this program where they're trying to connect volunteers with local communities. And I know I'm not super local, but I'm local now.
So do you
and
live here now?
I'm living at Big Deer, actually.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's been nice,
so just for the summer?
just for the summer.
Then where do you go?
Then, I mean, I'm figuring it out.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I mean, the reason why I'm here is that they want volunteers to connect with their communities to inform them about grant opportunities through the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act.
Okay,
And one, I'm just throwing myself in this process, so I don't even know how it works. And two, I don't even know what you guys have done. As far as,
Everything.
like-
I would turn around and talk to Mike Dice right
just so
now. He's our grants guy right now.
Oh, okay. It's like, okay, well.
No, I sort of say that in jest, but
Yeah.
Mike's done a lot of stuff on, and the other Mike as well, with a lot of opportunities that we've found around
Yeah.
grants, for sure.
Is
so.
that through, like, so you're the grant manager? Is that like?
No.
Oh, yeah.
On a
That's a
volunteer
committee
basis.
right there.
Yeah. On a
Yeah.
voluntary basis.
I mean, I've pursued with other people a handful of grants.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, would you be interested in chatting?
I'm interested, I'm curious to learn more, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's your problem with
Yeah.
he's always willing to listen.
Yeah,
so we can,
yeah.
is that,
That's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to overwhelm myself and also other people because I'm just throwing myself into it. But I
Okay.
think that that's at least a start. But
okay,
because it's really difficult, there's so much minutia in regards to when things are due, and a lot of them want to push an agenda right now because who knows whether the funding will be back later on. So
Yep.
it's just, yeah, it's all, I'm basically a surrogate for the Sierra Club, and then I talk to the people on the ground that actually know what's going on.
so when you say Sierra Club, I'm thinking of like a store, right? There's this.
Oh, no, I mean, Sierra
So,
yeah,
so what
it's
is the Sierra
Yeah,
Club?
yeah. So it's this nonprofit. John Muir actually founded it,
Okay.
but it's based off of preservationist philosophy. Like they're trying to preserve the land that we have right now, and
Okay,
what they try to do is, I mean, they lobby for environmental policies to be implemented, and so this is just one of their agendas, one of their campaigns that they're doing.
okay,
That's like a very brief rundown. But, yeah.
okay.
So that's,
Yeah, I think if Mike is willing to.
Yeah, if you guys can hook up and chat about
Yeah.
that, I guess that would be
Yeah,
wonderful.
because I also know that you have the planning committee too, but is
which
that?
is the other Mike.
That's the other Mike.
Okay.
You came to the right
I
meeting
did, okay.
tonight.
You came to the right meeting, you're just sitting at the wrong table.
Yeah, I'm
So-
just hearing everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
So what I would say is the town of Groton, I think, a couple things to know, like, now I think we're at 49% of the town
Pretty close, yeah.
pretty close to 49% of the town is owned by the state forests and otherwise.
Yeah,
And we are very, I mean, obviously, we're open to environmental protection in the town. I will say, I think that the one thing to know is we, and that's why I point to Mike and Mike, they have done a lot with grant funding to help us with things like the VOREC grant and other grant funding for communications, the CUD work that Mike guys is doing. So again, I think we have a great bunch of resources, and we're open to any grant possibilities that can help better the town of Groton. So I think that being said is, as you probably are aware, we all work full-time jobs and have other things that we're doing so we really encourage folks to pull together projects and otherwise that can help us move those improvements forward, because we all again we all would like to see as much as we can, but may not have the time to do it all.
yeah, sure. No, that's comforting, and yeah, thanks for that.
okay. Does that cover?
That covers what, that's.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, yeah, this is kind of an introduction, but I know that the next meeting's in August, is that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll be there then.
Yeah. Next planning commission meeting, Mike, is next week,
July
The
20th.
week after.
week after. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
July
yeah,
20th.
Yeah.
okay, great.
So
Oh, good,
Yeah.
perfect, yeah.
there's nothing available through the Sierra Club for knotweed.
I was wondering, this is a great lead to the next subject on the agenda, isn't it?
Oh, not, yeah.
Japanese knotweed removal,
Yeah.
is there?
Okay, so moving right along, so Alan, you're up next with Knotweed.
Good evening, gentlemen. I've come because I haven't got grants yet.
So come back when you get some grants.
So as you know, a lot's been happening since the town meeting, since I met with you earlier, and I've given, do you all have the proposal?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have it? So I think the most important thing that's happened is the discovery of Nick Smith. We didn't realize when we started being concerned about knotweed, about how we can deal with it. Then after we'd found out, as you may not know, that one of the biggest problems in Groton is knotweed.
I actually have heard about it, yeah.
It's all the way down the Wells River, and it's probably even further down now, where it goes all the way down.
Yeah, after that.
Yeah. We might actually clear it off somebody's property. I think Tristan's got some that he just maybe it's washed off your property.
He pushed it all in the.
Actually, I don't think I have much on mine, it's all on the other side, actually.
When he picks it up, throws it.
So we started realizing just how bad the problem's been. And Dale and I have been working down on Clark's Landing, getting more experience with it. And I think we've learned a tremendous amount over the last 6 months. We've been cutting out a whole bunch of it. And it's rather appropriate we've cut out about an acre down on Clark's Landing. And there's probably another acre to go. And we ran into Nick, and he's a professional, and he's licensed to spray. And the only way we're going to get rid of this stuff is to spray it a couple of times. This year, next year, next year. And that's why he put this proposal together for the acre or so that we've already cut. And he's proposing to spray it in the fall. I think it's a great start. To go a step further, he is such a resource, I think we need to nurture him and get quotes on lots of other places around town. The town park is horrendously contaminated, and how the whole concept's there. And we need to attack this. I think this is a great first shot, and getting Nick involved, I think, is really great. So I'll answer any questions you have.
Well, so cost per acre, $550, and total cost for 3 treatments is $1650.
That would be over 3 years.
Okay,
Oh, that's
so,
the 3-year
It's
cost.
actually spraying each year.
okay, so it's $550, what, per acre?
550 this year.
Yeah, okay, and then
And is
550
that-
and 550 per se, something like that, 3 payments of that.
Yeah.
So from the town, which we don't have a budget for this, we don't have a knotweed
No.
department
You've
or,
got the emergency fund and things like that.
Yeah, well, we do have property maintenance funds, right? I mean, I think the thing would be, you know, one, where does it fit to do for this year? And thinking of it from and thinking of it from a budgetary standpoint is, you know, one, how much treatment, I mean, obviously this is 3 treatments for this space, but you know, what are we thinking about for next year? Because if we do more, if we treat more areas next year and it needs to be included in the budget, we need to understand what that number is gonna be so we can, you know, budget for it correctly.
Before we go too much further, okay, we just had a natural flood, catastrophe, whatever, okay, knotweed all gets washed somewhere, right? So we treat this area and then it floods, and then more knotweed comes from this area.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that Groton is uniquely set up for is the Wells River starts here.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we take care of our end of it, it's not getting kicked down to us from anybody else.
Okay.
So,
But we have areas, we have landowners, what I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
up above here that's full of knotweed, so we go and treat this, we kill this section, but then we have a flood, it washes it down and reseeds in again and we start all over. The process all
I would say
over.
the biggest thing is, you know, elimination now and mitigation in the future. So, you know, what are we doing to remove it from where we have control of removing it, advocating with those landowners to seek out someone like Nick Smith to help with, you know, mitigation on their properties, and then, you know, we mitigate it from there. I mean, and again, as something pops up, we can say, hey,
Which I think is great, but I think it's gonna take money, grant money, and people will sign up for grant money, and, you know, if we can say, we're gonna kill the knotweed on your property, and everybody's gonna be like, okay, that's fine. But if I have to pay for it, no.
Oh, you're not gonna pay for it?
You know what I'm saying, though?
Exactly. And so we've actually been looking at grants. Nick has, the NRSCS has been recommended to us as one source. But each individual owner has to put in a grant. It's complex, and I've got like 50 owners who contaminated down the river that we've mapped from Bills down.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
And
There's the watershed grants that you can get up to 10,000, which the town can actually apply for. You know, we could write the grant and you guys can sign it. Picking which area we want to do, which might be, I was thinking maybe the town park and its neighbouring properties. Because one thing we've discovered, I've just mentioned NRCS, which is what each individual has to apply, but the patch of knotweed spreads over 3, 4, 5 different properties, so one person in the middle taking out doesn't work. So we're very actively working to find funding. I'm going to bitch to these guys because I keep asking them for more suggestions and they haven't given me any yet.
it looks
well,
like
Mike and Mike
from the Sierra Club maybe
they kind of have their hands full with projects they're working
I think
on.
the Sierra Club should help us. We just help this area. No, we're very, very conscious of that. I mean, yeah, I realize that some of these grants are cost sharing. And so if we get a grant, we might have to come back to the town and say we need some cost sharing, which, having been at the town meeting, I know that you can come up with proposals for, let's put 10,000 into a new reserve account for invasive species control, something like that, in the next year's budget.
Okay. So that's fair. So my opinion is, if you're gonna do it right. Don't spend money that is gonna continuously be a waste of money in trying to get this under control, in per se. Like I said, if you have a big budget and grant money, and you can go to people's lands and say, hey, we're gonna kill this for you, and they're gonna be like, okay, no problem. But we wanna kill this, but we don't have any money, would you be willing to pay $500? And they're gonna be like, no, I wouldn't. So we just gotta be careful the whole process of this, I guess, and let's not waste money and time and then have to start all over again because it didn't work. Right?
Yeah, and I think, you know, what may make sense is to, you know, come up with, you know, I think bring forward a plan for how we do that. How do we eliminate, you know, what you know, not just like the process of, you know, but actually what should be our, you know, plan for elimination and mitigation as a town, that incorporates, you know, how all of that works. And I think that then can help to determine maybe what the funding may be long-term, to figure out if, you know, we need to do grant funding now that helps us take care of this now, and then, you know, we have ongoing funds that we need down the road. You know, how do we incorporate that in? But, you know, again, we can only really manage the town's properties, right? Individual private property owners, we have to find a way to advocate with them to move forward with that. So, I mean, it's a complicated, you know, it's really complicated in that way.
I've been meeting with some of the residents. Some of them are very supportive. Getting hold of them has been somewhat problematic.
Right.
But the ones I've talked to have actually been, Tim Daly's got it all up on his property. It's a disaster all the way down. Very supportive.
But when you say
As long as we,
supportive,
meaning we can do it on his property. Yeah, no, he's not going to be paying for it. He's not
but that's what, I mean,
Yeah.
and I feel like the reason why we have such a problem everywhere is from floods, is it keeps moving it and spreading it. So if we're trying to kill an area here, and great, but then we have another flood and it brings it down from the landowners that didn't do it, you know what I mean? That's kind of my theory and thought on this. How do we do that?
We're trying to work upstream to find out where it starts. I haven't seen it, well, it's hard to get all the way up some of the branches. I asked Mike if it was on, which one, my guy said it was on his property, because he's on one branch. He said he doesn't think so, and I told him to know so. But we need to go up the north branch as well. And the south branch.
So, you know, we can spend a lot of time working on this, but so what is the, what do we think would be? It almost seems like we need to kind of put together a committee or something to try to figure out, okay, so if we want to invest in this and whatever, where do we start and how do we get the money, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it sets a nasty precedent when you're going on people's personal property and providing money for them for this particular instance, because what happens next time with something else? You've already set precedent that you're going to pay for it.
Right.
If it's a grant, that's one thing. If it's something that's
Yeah,
a
I don't
budgeted
think-
item.
Oh, I don't,
Nobody's
no.
talking about the town.
No, we're not,
Yeah.
not in any means would the
Yeah.
town be able to, I'm just trying to like,
Okay, that would be my
have a
concern.
discussion like, okay, so grant money wise, how does this all work?
Yeah, I
What's the
think-
reality of it?
I
Is there a committee?
imagine if Alan goes after a grant, finds somebody to go after a grant for it, and Mike could probably speak to it better than I could. Part of that grant is going to be, what's your plan for getting rid of knotweed? Like,
Will
we're not
goat
just gonna
seed it?
give you,
And then
yeah, we're not
keep
just
it-
gonna give you $5,000.
Will goat seed it?
I betcha.
Will
That
goat
won't
seed
get-
knotweed?
that won't get rid of it.
What's that?
It just comes straight back up again. If you,
And you bring the goat back the next year.
if you keep mowing it, it keeps coming back as well.
It's true.
They'll pull it right out of the ground if they like it.
So, okay, so I don't wanna waste a lot, we have a lot to cover tonight, and I don't wanna cut you short, but what I personally feel, and as a board member, is I wanna see more. I wanna see like some other people involved in this, some way that we can get grant money before the town's gonna invest and try to do our part. I think it's not really the start of it, you know what I mean?
I think the issue with this particular project, it is town land.
Yep.
It's going to have to be cleared at some point in time if the planning committee ever comes up with a plan for how they're going to develop that land.
Well, okay, so
and then I will say that's, I mean, again, I would directly talk to Mike Namias, because,
Have done.
you know, he, with the VOREC grant money, and there is plans for development of some of this property. Obviously, we're not gonna develop property along, you know, this strip along the riverfront. I mean, I don't know that we really could do much to develop that other than to remove it, but again, I think the biggest thing is, you know, I'm supportive of us trying to do what we can do where we can, right? For sure. I do understand what you know Tristan's saying is we take care of it here, and then upstream it comes back down, and in a couple more years we've got it right back. You know, and so we you know, then we're having to reinvest money to
Tackle it again, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, I think, you know, it seems like we have some time before we need to be able to make a fall treatment with what you've, you know, presented with the proposal. But what I would, you know, really suggest would be, you know, let's get a few other folks involved and pull together a larger, more comprehensive plan and how we can, you know, get this rolling. How we can actually eliminate it in the town, because it can help. I mean, it is an invasive species, most certainly. But, you know, I think, again, if we try to budget this for next year in the budget, then we as a select board need to provide justification to folks that may not be impacted here if it is part of the budget.
Mike, what are you thinking?
I was just gonna add, I mean, Alan has attended a couple of our VOREC Groton Gateway grant meetings as we sort of plan this out. I mean, as a group, we're supportive of this, obviously. I mean, if it was in hindsight, I think if it would have been 2.5 years ago, and we knew about knotweed, we probably could have worked a line item in to cover some of the cost as part of that. So,
and as the town, we're interested in whatever, but
Yeah.
we need,
I mean, we're a little constrained on our $225,000 because we had to line item identify how we're going to spend that.
Right,
And
right.
That's not part of this. That being said, I think, you know, there's got to be money out there, whether it's future VOREC type grants, whether it's other environmental grants. The timing may not be immediate, but I think I think that's a key part of, you know.
and Catherine,
Yeah, no,
you need a project, right?
I know, I do need a project, this is interesting. No, I mean, yeah, there's so much that's available that's what, but I don't really know, a lot of these grants that I'm supposed to research and look into are more just energy, you know, conscious infrastructure, so it's
Yeah.
not, I don't know, like from what I've briefly seen, I don't know if there's really anything in regards to
Yeah, I mean,
invasive species removal.
No, I
I'd
think
say,
you're-
yeah,
Rivers
Sierra
and
Club's been
streams is-
very focused on energy.
All right, so let's not get, we don't want to get wrapped up in this too far tonight, but, so I don't know, I kind of feel like we need more, you know what I mean, before the town's gonna invest in this and start trying to spend money on doing this, that we need a plan. We really need a plan, like what's the approach and more.
Well, we can write a plan now for the grants we're going to write, which I think I included in what was in my cover letter to you. The types of grants that we know we can get,
Okay.
grants that Nick's going to help us with. And I can rewrite that and I bring it to you on August 2. That's the next meeting. It's the same thing. It's not going to, we can't guarantee we're going to have funding. The watershed grant is February submission. NRCS is a round submission. So
Okay, and that's fine, but we need a plan, meaning, and we need like so we need something more, like, so, okay, you get funding, let's say, and then what? So where do we start? So to invest as a town to try to be part of this, to set a precedence, what, you know, my perfect example is if you'd like to come look at my property right now and see of all the crap that I got from everybody else, then it's like, okay, well, so I've spent all this money to clean all this up, but now I gotta start all over again from Irene. So knotweed, the same idea. If we clean it all up, but then we get a huge flood and then it all starts all over again, we just threw money away that
Well,
didn't.
and I think it's not, I think once it's mitigated, and I'm not a biologist by any means, but it's not like, you know, it's not like there's gonna be a flood, now we're gonna have it up and down both sides of the bank for miles, right? It's gonna pop up in pockets and other things. Then that's gonna be part of the, but I think that needs to be part of the plan, right? How do we mitigate when we do have, you know, when we do have it crop up on town property at least, or otherwise? And I think that's where, you know, I'm supportive of us trying to figure out with an invasive, especially something invasive like knotweed, but, again, I think what we owe, to the taxpayers is, what is that comprehensive plan? What is that, what is that budgetary impact? Where does that fall as a property owner for me to have to take care of? And then, again, with it popping up on private property, how do we get those property owners involved to understand that, this is important for the environment, but all, and for the town, and has an impact on, from here down to Wells River and beyond, right? I mean, so it's that's where I think, having having a bit of a comprehensive plan around how, how this is, needing to be tackled, maybe, I think, the direction to go, and I think.
So for now, work on it more, and then come back in August and present what you have, and we will discuss this and see what we can do then. How's that? Does that seem fair?
So Alan, you're fighting a good fight. You know what I mean?
You said that last time.
Yeah. Then you're not, but, you offer words of encouragement because you're not getting them from the board right now. You're not getting the financial support that you were looking for. But what you're doing is important. And, you stick to it and come back with something more concrete. I believe the board would be happy to stand beside you. I mean, the board right now would be happy to spray the knotweed. If we were told that it's all gonna go away for $1,500.
And really,
that's the truth. Then we would, but, it's our responsibility
to look out for the best interest of
yes.
the money that's spent for the town. So.
Not that we are not supportive of your idea, but we just want to make sure the dollars and cents are there in a common sense way. And that, doing it is going to be effective. So, I mean, I think we fully understand that going down there and spraying off what we own is going to make an impact, in the short term. But, to Tristan's point, something, I've always, as I stated earlier, I've always been a big proponent of Groton cleaning its stuff up. Because whatever we do here goes down to Wells River to Rygate and Wells River into Newberry, and then into the Connecticut, and then down to the ocean. So we're not getting anybody else's stuff pushed on us. It's our responsibility to send clean water down, and their responsibility to keep it clean after that. So if we do our job here, we've done our job, is my philosophy on conservation in the town of Groton, especially around the watershed. So, sorry if my words of encouragement aren't what you want to hear, but it's a good thing that you're doing now.
It's a lot better than hearing we don't give a damn about it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunately what's happened over the last, I think the difference is if we get rid of it, the next hurricane comes down, I think that's what Zach's saying, there can be little bits.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to follow it and get rid of it. It's the magnitude of what's out there at the moment. But there's no individual owner here who is going to be able to take care of what's on their property at the moment. That's what struck me as I've gone through this town and mapped it. If people have it, they have a half acre of knotweed.
And they don't really care because it's not affecting them. It's in their field, it's on the side of the thing.
Yeah. But I think, like with the knotweed, it's like
road right here.
yeah.
Right.
With the knotweed, it's one of those things you go out and you got 5 foot span of it, and then next summer you go out and there's 25 feet of it.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you some stories how fast we see it growing this year.
Yeah. So, to Tristan's point, we're gonna beat the heck out of this.
Okay, so come back in August with more, and we will have another discussion on it. How's that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay, highway roads, side mowing, rental equipment idea, tree on Minard Hill. So, what I know, as far as, and Harold was hoping to be here, but with the flood stuff, I guess he decided he couldn't be here. He's not still out working, so, I don't know. Originally, he was saying he was gonna be here.
Yeah, he stopped in and dropped that off for me, so I knew he wasn't coming.
Right, so, and I think you guys saw the email about the roadside mowing and about renting a mower versus doing the hiring, and he said, So he said that, oh, this is the thing, but he said, what was the,
He said he hadn't gotten any bids.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I don't know where I had.
We didn't print that one.
Okay, so he hasn't gotten any bids,
Right.
first of all, and, we had tentatively kind of discussed about the roadside mowing, doing it themselves, so the idea was it's $3,000 a week for the mower, plus blades, which I think are a few $100 one way or the other. They could go get the mowing machine and bring it here, which it's gonna be in Hardwick, so it wouldn't be that
July
far.
9th was it?
August.
August?
What was the amount, 3,000?
So, good morning, Pete, talk to Pete's available from August 7th to the 19th at $3,000 a week plus blades, is what he said. I talked to him, about it, and, you know, I'm like, well, okay, so what are we getting into? Can we get our money's worth? Is it, we're gonna get more than what we would get if we just hired somebody to come do it, cause it's tying up a guy for our town. And his discussion is that we can do a way better job in our own town ourselves, cause we can do double areas and do more in areas that need to be done versus when we hire somebody to make one pass and that's it. So we can cover a lot better, more areas and do a better job and get, so I was a big fan of that. And my opinion is, let's try it this year, let's see how it goes. If it,
The price is gonna be close.
well,
To
I
that.
actually think it's gonna be a lot more, cause it was, where our budget is, 6,500.
Yeah.
And
No,
with the
one
way
pass.
everything's going, I have a funny, that's why I was kinda waiting to see if we got any bids in to see where they were coming out. But it's not gonna be cheaper.
No, why, we raised that.
So, and we
Yeah.
cut it back instead of 2 passes last year because of the price of it to 1 pass, so I feel like, and
He did.
Harold did
He did
say.
2 passes on the blacktop and 1 pass on the dirt. That's
Is that what we
did
ended
last
up
year.
doing?
Yes.
I thought it was
Yeah.
1 pass, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Not two on everything.
It was not 2 on everything.
Well, and by August, I don't know that
and
we need.
he
a
said that
pass, you know what I mean?
he would
Where?
hire,
2 lanes there.
Brent some to help out because somebody would be in the tractor all week, doing that, so, so they have us kinda penciled in to save the tractor for that date, cause obviously it would get booked, but this was on us, you know, discussing it and approving that we would rent a tractor this year versus
Yep.
do the roadside mowing, so, and I think it sounds like a good idea, it's up to you guys, and I talked to you,
I
Zach,
agree, yeah, we
a
talked
little
about
bit
it a while ago. I'm supportive of it. I think the one thing that I wanna make sure is not the case is that if we're going to do this, it's not overtime.
No.
It should be
No.
during their regular
Yeah, I
work
think,
hours.
Well,
It
that's,
doesn't do
I think
for
that's
me.
why they were gonna hire Brent some to fill
Somebody
in,
to come in.
so they could,
And
somebody
again, I
could
mean-
keep doing that.
From a budgetary concern only, that's part of it, but I mean, again, it's Harold's budget, he needs to manage his budget. And if he
Nope,
thinks
that's
this is if he thinks this is the best way to take care of getting this done within his budget, and it's gonna
And
be
he's
good
got
for the town.
temporary highway.
Yeah, so let's,
So-
you know, I think that makes a lot of sense.
So I'm all for it and I say yes, so I guess,
We will know by September if it's a good idea or not.
right, okay, so that's
do we wanna-
good, that's approved to do that, to go that route, I guess, and we haven't even gotten any bids back anyway,
No.
so.
Do we need a motion for it? Do you wanna?
I don't think so.
I don't think it needs a motion, no.
But,
good.
so there'll be a contract with, who is it, Pete's, you said?
Pete's,
So
yeah,
they'll have a
equipment.
contract and then we'll have
Yeah.
insurance going back and forth, is my only
Yeah,
concern, so.
yeah. And I know Pete's, I've done
Okay.
business with him, they're good people, so,
Yeah.
good outfit. Okay,
Okay.
so tree on Minor Hill, I don't know anything about that. Meaning, I don't know anything more about the tree on Minor Hill.
I don't
We
know.
It's
just
still there,
remember
I think.
talking about it and then what was supposed to be happening and
I don't know, I don't know where we left it.
remember.
Green Mountain Power, I thought was doing something with it, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Green
Okay, so
Mountain
let's-
Power removed it.
let's table that and just leave it as tree on Minor Hill, cause I don't know
The
what.
only thing I can say is that tree on Minor Hill is dangerous. At some point, it's gonna come down and block that road.
Well, then
And
it'd be
take out
easy to
power.
take care of.
It'll take out power lines and stuff, so.
I don't,
No.
yeah, so we'll just discuss it, cause I don't know anymore about it.
All right, so we'll put it on the agenda next time.
Yeah, just tree question mark kinda, I guess, Minor Hill, so we can talk about it, that'd be good. And what else did I have? So that's all I had from
Sign,
road.
we moved to highway, talk about the speed sign.
The speed sign on Minor Hill.
Hill.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, and the report I had from Harold, did you guys get any, I can't remember if he sent us an email, that all the roads are passable, at least one lane, I think he sent an email, didn't he, about all that, an update, right?
So, from what I
I thought
understood
you
from his
printed-
emails, he has one lane open. He's got one lane open on Sayon and Lakeside Drive,
Correct.
which is two worse. But he's not doing any more work on it until the state comes.
But he can.
It can he do that change from?
So they've overridden a 72-hour holding for that. Which-
72 hour, the thing I listened to today, I joined the state's update, but Harold thinks the state's coming tomorrow anyway, so
Yeah.
he's still
It's
just
gonna
gonna
hold
wait.
off.
So, right, but
They can't
They
go
over-
302 yet, so.
they overdid it so we could fix the roads and whatever. As far as I'm concerned, take pictures, fix the road, and then we'll worry about it. We, and as discussion as that, so out, me being included, my road, I expected to lose the whole entire road because it did the same thing that Irene did. And so, it was just, I thought it was all gonna be gone. But the material that we rebuilt stuff with in this town, the ditching work, the rock, the stone, we used better, bigger material, the brooks, the rivers all stayed within there, so it's working is really what it's.
It's just like, I talked to him in the office, I tried to see Harold in person, wasn't able to, but it's like I told Carrie and Lisa, a lot of that municipal roads grants, that stuff that you have to do, you know, like, they went from being like an 8-inch culvert at the end of your driveway to making it a 12 or an 18, you know, for one of these flood events, and doing that stuff.
It's working.
It's working.
Right.
Like, we only lost 2 roads, and
Right.
for not, you know, like, for less than 24 hours.
Like the grindings they reused from
Yeah.
from this, they
Yeah.
put on my road and other roads.
Westfield,
And
there
the
was-
water ran off of it
Yeah.
versus dug into it and tore the whole road up. So it worked.
And that's the highway department, that's the highway department for a number of years being forward-thinking, that's the select board for a number of years being forward-thinking. It's the highway department doing the work, but they gotta come to the select board for the last 15, 20 years and convince them that this is important to do, so. The 3 of us can take credit for it.
Well, no, but yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not just Harold, it's
And
not
the
just,
state changing the rules.
and the state, yeah.
The state is,
Yeah.
yeah, things are working.
It used to be, like, you know, Carrie knows, 10 years ago, it used to be, these are the standards that you should do. And now it is, these are the standards you need to do if you want to get a grant. So, like, it was a good idea to do it 10 years ago, and now, like, to Carrie's point, it's mandated, you have to do it, so.
So that's a good thing. So things, we've held up really well through this storm. Whatever, believe me, it could be so much
I
worse.
was gonna say, there are towns in the state of Vermont right now that are in a lot worse shape than we are. And I think, you know, we, you know, again, it's a testament to, you know, really 12 years of work, you know, post Irene, to make sure that we had the right infrastructure in place to mitigate, you know, what could have been a lot worse.
And Groton's a river town.
Mhm.
There's a river that runs right through it, you know, we're not high and dry somewhere, we're not Peachum. You know, like,
Some of
there's-
you guys are in Groton. What are you talking about? Some of
If
us
my house
live
floods,
on the bottom of the river valley.
it's time to build a park if my house floods.
So anyways, that's good. One other thing under highway was, Willis Page reached out to me about the sign, the digital speed sign in front of his house. He's weed whacked it all, and he's pretty much, he's kinda sick of it being in front of his house. He said it works awesome. He said, because every car, I think, is stopping to pull in my driveway. but they're just slowing
Slow
down.
it down, yeah.
So he's asking the town if there's any way that the sign could be moved somewhere else instead of being right in front of his house.
There's
Just a little further.
There's regulations, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be behind, a posted 30 sign.
Well, it's with one.
Yes.
With one. It is with
It is with one, and there is another one, so that whole thing could just get moved
Moved.
down.
And I honestly agree with him. If it was in front of my house, I wouldn't be a big fan of it. And it's been shot at and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
it's
opposed to moving
it's
it, I'm
I think a fair request.
So it would be moving the whole thing,
Yeah,
not
I
just the
don't-
sign, take the whole pole with the speed sign
And
and.
move it.
Yeah, I understand that, but you have a speed sign that has a 30 mile an hour on top of it. But part of that regulation is it needs to be behind a regularly posted 30 sign, within a certain distance.
It's gotta be, yeah, it's gotta.
So you can't just throw a speed sign at somebody without having them warned ahead of time that,
Because I
so.
think Jim was part of putting it up, and I don't know how he,
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if it says 35 and then you go however long you want, it's still 35, so wherever
Okay,
it's.
I'm not arguing common sense.
I'm just saying.
And I think,
I'm just saying if we move it, there's regulations as to where it's supposed to be, so.
it wouldn't be far, so we could look into seeing what it is.
So if you guys are,
We're all in favor of moving.
yeah, sure, I think we're supportive of moving, and I just think like Aaron said,
I'll
there
do
are
some,
regulations that.
I'll do
govern
some
it.
work on like what the regulations on where it
But I
has to
think,
be.
I mean, it's a town
But-
road, so I think we.
Yeah, it's
That's-
different state.
That was kind of my
It doesn't
other.
require any pre-approvals to placement or other stuff, it just needs to be, it needs to follow those guidelines.
And we'd already talked about using it out here, and if that was the
Eventually.
case, then it would move anyway, so, but I don't know when or what that's, so. So I'll do some work on seeing about where that falls into, how's that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
That was the last thing on that. Treasurer, closeout agreement, SOV, educational tax rate, Lisa.
Okay, so, the closeout agreement, Zach and I started that, procedure, so, Zach, I wanted to let you know that the audit is uploaded or downloaded onto the website.
Okay, so I'll just go in
So
tonight and
if you
sign
go
it.
in and look at it, and
Yep.
then you just have to agree and sign off on it.
Okay, so you were able to get them done?
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
did.
Perfect. So, I'll go look at that and I can just,
Hardest part of the whole idea is setting up your.
yeah, I know.
Right, he got that
I got
far, it's
it,
just
I sat
the
down and like, logged in there, what do we do? And it was we needed to get the audit back, to get it
Yeah,
uploaded to make that, so to speak.
yeah. So
You're ready to go.
that's
Hardest
all,
part is setting
all in
it.
process, so hopefully in the
Yep.
next couple weeks we'll have it
Yeah.
done.
Yep,
I handed out the budgets to everybody, we're at 50%,
Yeah.
halfway through the year.
Anything
I
that,
really
any red
haven't-
flags, okay?
I
We'll-
haven't looked at
I
it.
guess review it for next,
Yeah, you can review it and then we can talk about it.
okay?
Let me see, I've been working on, I had to do a wage summary report for VLCT and fire department, second quarter payroll, I will get to it tomorrow. I'm late on it, I had to be away, so,
I don't think anybody's counting on that to pay their mortgage.
okay.
And if they are,
I-
it's pretty.
Right, I plan to do it tomorrow, so there'll be a warrant to sign.
Okay,
And, educational tax rate, we got notified that the homestead is 1.5066, and the non-homestead education tax rate is 1.5186, which is up, from last year,
okay.
so it's gonna hurt.
Effect, yes.
Already, taxes in town are higher, we haven't done a thing.
What'd you say?
I said already taxes in town are higher, we haven't done a thing.
So, is all I have for treasurer.
Okay, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Town clerk? Carrie?
Let's see, so dogs are, winding down.
Good.
19 left on the list of known dogs, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We have the lunches with friends that got canceled,
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not enough helpers. they're still gonna do the home delivered Meals on Wheels through the Rygate meal site, and anyone requesting the service from the Northeast Kingdom Council on Aging. So that's a bummer for town.
Not enough. People to help.
Helpers make the food,
Yeah.
cooks and stuff like that.
Volunteering in small
Yeah.
communities, anywhere, is crisis level.
You had talked with the sheriff a few different times since
I
last
have.
meeting. So I talked to him about the trash. He called the trash that got dropped off in the woods that Mark cleaned up.
You sent the
on Glover.
pictures, and did I send, yeah.
Yeah, I sent him pictures, so he called, he tried to get ahold of the people a few different ways. Finally did through phone call to just remind them. He said there's no way to really do anything stronger because you'd have to prove that they actually took their trash and they dumped it. Because you could always argue someone took my trash and dumped it.
Yeah, of course they did, yeah.
So,
That makes sense when all your bills and stuff are in the
yeah,
trash,
all
it's
the
over the
names, their
bank.
names were all through it, but
Well, I would hope
he
that,
did call.
yeah, I would hope that they would investigate, talk to those people, and if they gave their trash to somebody who dumped it, because there have been rumors of that for a while in the town of Groton happening, you know, yeah, anyway.
I don't know, okay,
So he did follow up on it, so
That's good.
okay.
And did you talk to him about changing the times they were coming or mixing it up with that little extra thing?
Yeah,
So that
I
you
did.
gave him a go
But
ahead?
I've talked to him and nothing's happened. Because he said he was gonna bring the sign back so
Yeah.
we could finish the study on the other end of town. Haven't seen it. And that was like a
Yeah.
month ago.
Okay.
So I'll have to call him again.
Ask them if somebody can go pick it up.
Stop by Nathan Jolly's house.
Yeah. So, talk to Michael Dolly, see if he can.
Well, apparently I'll call him again. So, I'll just remind him the next election, stuff, he needs to stay on this stuff.
So we talked about the flood. There's the number 211 that residential damages can be reported. I did hear that 211 is now down, but that was what the state was doing for, non-public municipal type
Okay.
damage. That's a totally different FEMA program that would help people if their house, had damage and other things they owned.
Okay. Okay.
That's the BCA, I think I sent you emails with the date, and then we changed the date, so.
I saw that,
We
yeah.
just need, it's hard to get that many people to agree on a date, we just need a chunk of us,
Yeah.
so the
July
24th.
The
Move
24th?
to the 24th, 31st didn't work for a bunch of people. so
July or August?
July, which is soon,
That's on Monday, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. Okay.
I just,
If we can get like 5 or 6 of us, that's
Yep.
enough to
At
have.
what
a
time?
I'll
majority.
make every effort.
I said 5, but it can be later if that is better for anybody. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. I can make I could try to make 5 o'clock work.
Unless 6 o'clock you can definitely make.
6 o'clock, well, 6:02.
Yeah, I think. All right, I can just confirm that most of you can be there, Tristan will be there.
What? No, that's dinner time, I can't.
Oh,
We're gonna share, I'll bring you dinner, how about that?
We'll bring you
we'll
some.
bring you a snack.
I'll
I
bring you some
don't,
fertilizer water.
I don't,
Okay, well, like I said, if we can get 5 or 6 of us.
Yeah.
Is enough.
I could possibly be there, I just don't know at this
I'll send you a
moment.
reminder.
I got, it should be done, but I got kids.
Put it on the
After
calendar,
work,
make
this
sure it's
weekend, I'll
over,
probably
yeah.
be at the lake, so I don't know.
So the other thing for the flood was that they talked about was they're waiting to hear if there's gonna be a major disaster declaration. That's different than the emergency declaration that already did happen.
Okay,
So that was one thing.
Well, after the rain tomorrow, it might be.
Yeah. that
I'm
was
pretty sure
that.
they signed that this afternoon.
Did they?
I
Okay.
think so.
And that they are putting a flash flood warning. They have done that 2 p.m. tomorrow to 2 a.m. Friday. So.
Michael Nemus, do you
oh, I
know,
would be
will
so
they,
mad if I got flooded.
will they roll Thursday's rain into the same
Oh,
event,
I
or will they? You don't know.
I don't know.
What, it's
I know
just,
that
it
the
makes such a
operation, the
mess.
state emergency operations center,
Such a
if it
mess.
doesn't close between events, they might be able to, and it's not gonna close. We're in. So it might just be like the July 10th or hopefully 11th flooding event and not
There is some towns got the 8th, 7th and 8th, an event then, that they're saying is
That
separate.
was Killington and it was only Rutland County got that one though.
So they did talk about whether they were rolling that together,
Yeah.
and somebody walked in the office and talked to me and I did hear it, so. That was
I know there was one where it was like a week-long thunderstorm one that they had, probably 2017, July, June, July. They did something like that. Kind of depends.
Okay.
Okay, so that is, I think what I have. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. Assistant Assessor, Dorothy.
Okay, so we filed the abstract for the grand list on the 29th, and the change of appraisals went out, and the current use updates went out every day. So I've been getting quite a few phone calls. If people have questions, and our next thing will be grievances. We've got 2 that we've had for a while on the books, so we've got those, and I don't know if we'll get more from what we mailed out. So
Okay,
other than that, we're good.
that's it?
That's it.
Wow, okay. Thank you. Fire and fast.
Fire and fast. Well, I'd like to report that Dorothy Knott, it was your grant application,
My
correct?
grant.
Dorothy Knott applied for the National Volunteer Fire Council and
And Anheuser-Busch.
an Anheuser-Busch grant for water. Do you remember exactly how much it was that we got?
It's like 96 cases
Which is
of water. So they do it to fire departments. A lot of it goes like for the big forest fires out west and stuff. But I've seen the grant for years, and it finally popped up one day, and it was 3 days left for you to apply, and I did it. So I did it on kind of a regional basis. I wrote the grant on a kind of on a regional basis that it would be for training and fires and whatever in the area. So we're going to split it with Reigate, Peacham, and Tri-Village. I think that's it.
So
That's cool.
Reigate, probably Tristan knows, Reigate, Peacham, Tri-Village are the 3 departments that
that's
show
cool.
up on the first one.
So does it taste like Budweiser, like Bud Light, or it's just?
Yeah, it's just,
So at this point, we have a huge pile in the station, but we'll get it spread out. And we worked with Farrell Distributing out of Burlington was the one that got it to us. I thought they were gonna make like a trailer truck and a forklift, and this young lady that I spoke with said, oh no, we'll come with a van, and it'll be 9 hand trucks. So they backed in with a big fancy van, and there were 2 pallets in there, and I said, oh, so who's getting the other one? And they said, oh no, that's all yours. Because they had split, the pallet was so tall it wouldn't go into the van, so they split it, and so it came Friday, the day we were doing the coin drop. Yeah.
Oh,
And so they unloaded it, put it in piles. We kind of had a place, they just piled it up and off they went. So we've got a picture. One of the things they want us to do is to
publicity.
And reach out. So we got a picture. Kevin McDonald showed up after we were completely done, but he had his uniform shirt on for the coin drop, so we got him to hold the case, and we've got a picture, and then we'll do, at some point, we need to get a hold of Journal Opinion or somebody, and do more publicity. Because that's what they want to do, is that they want it publicized.
obviously.
You should send them an email. Guy at the Journal Opinion.
Oh,
Alice.
Alice.
Okay.
Dr. Wade.
But others have, I don't know, they only had like 4 or 5 in Vermont this year. But like Bath, they did a huge thing in New Hampshire. Some of it comes out of Manchester, New Hampshire, with Anheuser-Busch. And so they had quite a few that they got in New Hampshire last year.
Okay. Good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just remind all the firefighters when they drink it, it is 5-cent deposit.
There's, it's redeemable. So.
That's funny. And the other
Oh, this is
updates, I actually got we got an email from the chief, and it said R1 is still in repair, which I don't even know how long it's been over there,
It's
a month or?
40, it went the 1st of May. it is
A month and a half?
42 days.
60,
Seriously? Okay, I'm glad we didn't, like, it's not an emergency.
62 days.
Yeah, I
Luckily,
guess I couldn't tell, never mind.
Well, anyways, I don't know anything about that, but that's the, it says hose and ladder testing on July 20th at BMU. Coin drop went well, received free cans of water, which we already discussed, and that's what I got from a report from the chief.
So the only other thing that's happened lately is Sunday night, they called, emergency management called the house, and they brought down a swiftwater rescue team, came down at 8:30 at night. And the guys were all, 6 guys, it was from Lindenville, they were all set up. I said, you know, do you need food? No, we're here for 48 hours. And at 11:45, they called and said they'd been redeployed back to Lindenville because they had flooding up there. So they were here for 3 hours with their boat, and it was a good drill.
Okay.
And then they left.
Good.
I guess to add to that, not to go too deep in it, nobody from Groton knew. They just sent Lindenville down to our station, never told anyone.
Who decides
They
that?
called, well, emergency management, I think it was Pat McLaughlin, who's the
Yeah.
head of Swiftwater teams or something, called the house.
Okay.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but they did at 6 o'clock and said they're coming. And Wayne said, okay, we'll get the station open for them. So luckily we had an empty bay because our one's
Rescue's
gone.
gone, yeah.
And so originally they got the boat in and they had to do something on the boat, and then they finally pulled it back out, but, so the chief knew because he called St. Johnsbury
Okay.
and knew about it, because I called him when they got here, and then I called dispatch and told them that they were here.
Alright, so I didn't know anything about it, so I guess 3 people did. But, Swiftwater Rescue out of Berlin came down today, you heard that, Dorothy?
Yes,
I don't know, I'm not exactly sure why.
it came in as,
It came in, there was a report of 3 people trapped
In their house and couldn't get out with
and
flooding.
couldn't, yeah.
And there was 3 tones that
And
I heard when I was somewhere else today.
and the address was for Peter Lyons. He has
solar panel,
a
yeah.
solar panel that's on a piece of land, I think beyond his house, and that was the address.
Yeah.
And so then the fire department and other people went to Peter Lyons' house, and Mrs. Lyons said, well, there's nobody here.
Long story short, I think the call went into Vermont Emergency Management. So in today's day and age, you can have an app on your phone and hit, I need help. And it's just kind of, so Groton and Reigate got toned out to go help somebody, and the Vermont State Swiftwater Rescue Team came out of Berlin out of the blue. Because Vermont Emergency Management said they need you down there and sent it, and we
Because
did it.
the message was like that they were trapped at a camp.
Yeah, so,
And
it just-
I don't have my phone, but that's what the message was, that there was somebody trapped.
but
at
nobody
a
from
camp.
Groton requested a Swiftwater Rescue Team out of
It
Berlin.
was the squad.
No.
Could have been, yeah.
I guess. Well, okay, well,
Yeah.
we can't spend, okay, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
It doesn't sound like a select board thing that we need to be concerned with right now, but, okay, perfect, thank you. So, so is there any more on the landing zone follow-up?
I can't, well, I need to get contact information for Dick Guy, because I thought I had his email from Brenda to get back, so I need, but otherwise, I mean, I'm still in contact with the aviation safety officer at the National Guard. They did, I mean, I went up there, I got pictures, they did do some work up there to clean it up and expand it. It is not sufficient to land helicopters on still. Based off of the specifications that the National Guard gave me, I don't even think you probably could get a dart helicopter in there if you
It's
had to.
half of the area, and since then, somebody has gone in and done mud bogging on the other end. It was not done.
I think it was, yeah, when I went up there, it was torn up pretty well too, so it must have been, I mean, I haven't gone up there yet, but
So what,
because there's a stream that runs through that field, that's why it was all marshy. They did the far end of it, but it's only, I don't even, what I think it's like 50 feet by 50 feet or
So
something.
what are we, so what's the, so what, so.
So I'm gonna keep working on it. I don't necessarily know that we need to worry about it as a select board thing.
Okay, so that's
I think-
good, okay.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's gonna be between the state, because what I was asked is who owns the property, and I think the state owns the property, right? So
Correct,
that's gonna be,
okay,
we may be right out of it, and it's between the National Guard and the state.
okay,
Be neat.
fair enough. Library, anything on library?
Constable. Are we all done?
Well, we
Covered
already,
all that,
we've
yeah.
already
We did all
covered that,
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry?
Unless anybody has anything else to speak about the constable.
Nope,
Good, done with that.
library,
Mark's doing a great job on the
Yeah.
dog list.
Yeah.
There's music in the park on Friday,
okay,
As long as
so
it's not
probably won't
raining.
be in the park, you'll probably be in the gym,
okay,
so please come,
okay,
that's all. I
Thank
know
you.
about the library, she's got lots of programs.
right. Okay, zoning administrator, Dan,
Permits are down 45% from previous years that I've been doing it.
okay,
The new flood zone maps supposed to be out, that may be changing now. I talked to them today, they may be changing that because of the various things.
so it took them 10 years to come out with them, and now they,
I went to class a couple times last week on Act 47, which is a new law that became effective July 1st. It was passed Tuesday, on a Tuesday night for a Wednesday morning. What it does is it invalidates some of the zoning bylaws you just approved.
okay, oh, okay,
So, and I'll have to get with Mike with that on some of it. And
Okay.
just, it's typical state.
yep, okay,
And that's it for that.
okay. Thank you.
Dan, you said down 45% from you've been doing it. I mean,
I've
there was a
been doing
lot
it
of
for
building.
approximately 5 years.
Yeah,
It's down 45%.
there was a lot of building last year. I'd expect to kind of come down after
The
that.
big thing is cost.
Yeah.
8%, interest rates, lumber's up, everything's up, and now it's not gonna get any better.
Right.
Be a lot of
Makes
repair work
sense.
going on then.
How about health officer, Dan?
Yeah, we've had several verbal complaints. The state's not interested in verbal complaints anymore.
Okay,
And some of the verbal complaints are not interested in putting it in writing.
okay,
But it's the same two properties that we've had complaints about, and it's different people now
Okay.
that have issues. So I'm working on the state with that, still working with fire marshals and trying to get that squared up.
okay, all right, good.
Thank you, Dan.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Maintenance? Anything on maintenance?
No, because we have the drainage project down below, so.
Yeah,
I
we have,
think
then we
that-
have IT and computers, which I see we got the computers,
Yeah, we got them.
Awesome.
which is great.
Didn't Corey get all our lights replaced and we're blinking and everything? We had one
I
other
think-
ring up.
Oh,
I know he had only a few bulbs and he's supposed to come back and finish, but I don't know if that ever happened.
Okay. I didn't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, then the computers will just be working on with
When Gary can do it.
Gary, yep,
Yeah.
sounds good, okay. Planning commission,
We did not meet in June, so we don't have much of an update. We meet, next, 2 weeks from now.
okay,
We're starting the town plan and looking at other little things, ordinances and stuff like that.
Maybe
Okay.
we're doing the zoning bylaws.
No, we're not.
No.
They were out of touch with state regulations for how long,
right, right.
Like, there's a young lady that's working out in the state forest, Catherine Arnold.
Yeah.
She might be looking to, with a plan attachment. Yeah,
Yeah.
just as a heads
I
up.
just wrote it down, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. NEK, CUD, VOREC updates, VOREC grant, agreement, where are we at?
Which one's first there? 'Cause that was a-
Well, I don't know, I'm just I was just trying to move on here, I was
We'll
just
see you.
cover it all real
All right,
quick.
CUD's real quick, since the last meeting, we applied for that USDA Community Connect grant on June 20th. It was like, the application for the grant was $2,120,000
Okay,
for the grant part. NK Broadband would put in a 15% matching and do some other infrastructure work that adds up to about $935,000. So it's if we get it, it'll be a $3,055,000 project to connect those homes and to build out these community centers. Deadline, when we will find out, could be as early as August 20th. It's the USDA, so I don't know if that could extend out. So we're in a wait and see mode until we get word. So that's it.
Cool.
They start doing stuff down solar panels?
They've put the concrete base in that I'm aware of, or the pad, and that's it right now. So there's some issues with the GMP poles still that are trying to get worked out. There's still shortages of OLT equipment sheds, and so I don't have an exact date. I don't know if that's going to be in August or.
A couple days I saw contractors down there, I wasn't sure what.
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to get alerted when stuff happens down there, so.
Yeah, I was too, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, the pad went in and I wasn't informed, and or I was informed that it was happening that day or something. I mean, this was in the middle of the USDA grant application deadline where I was like heads down, so. As soon as I find out, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay, good. What about VOREC?
So the grant we signed the agreement finally.
Yep.
It should have been probably about a month and a half earlier, but there's somehow the culverts got lost in it. So we had to get it back going. So it's been signed, so we can now start working. And I guess now I've got lots of questions. So. And a lot of these questions are not that many. One small thing.
Board questions?
Well, like how are we going about doing things? Like, there's a whole bunch of legal work that has to happen to acquire this GMP property, and at first, our town attorney seemed like he wanted to do it, and I think in the back of my mind, I was like, well, if we want this done in the year that we have, maybe we put this out to bid. So there's a question of, do we put out, I think this is what we should do, but I mean, I don't know if we should have just an open conversation about this, or if I just say what needs to be done and then we decide how to go about it. But some of the stuff that has to happen quick is like a property survey, a title search. We need an attorney to do a title search, draft a deed, execute the deed, record the deed. Green Mountain Power is completely on board. They're ready to go and review everything, ready to just hand us the keys to the property. So it's just on us, and for years we've been not doing this because we didn't want to spend the money on the title search, the deed, all this, this $15,000 worth of stuff.
Right, that's all part of the grant, right?
Right, yeah, now it's all in the grant, so now we have, money to acquire this property, but I just think we should probably bid it out to a real estate lawyer, or target a few real estate lawyers and say, we'd like to do this, and, can you offer those services to the town?
So who's gonna be in charge of doing that?
Okay, next question. Hold on, maybe that's on page 2. So yeah, I mean, the way I kind of saw it was like, I know this project, Mike knows, we all know different parts of the project. Gary knows the trail, the culverts. I know what's going on with the stump dump and the Green Mountain Power. We've got an RFP from Harold that we've now cannibalized into our own. But the thought is, like, we would tell you what the scope of work is that we're looking to either bid, or if we saw the new purchasing policy, if it's under $5,000, then we can just go ahead and, find a contractor, I guess. But we wanted to know or what I want to know is, I'd like someone to look at these RFPs before I put them out, or someone to even put them out, and then I don't know who opens the bids. Is it the select board?
The select board would open the bids.
Well, so I guess the question is the grant funding went to us, right? So it's the town's money, right?
Yep.
Now, so that would all have to fall within I'm sure, it's gonna need to fall within our procedures.
Yeah.
So I think if we're gonna put it out to bid, we can put it out to bid, but I think we can name you the point of contact for the bids.
Correct.
But we would have to then follow our bid process, open the bids to move
approve
forward.
them.
Yeah, for any of that kind of stuff. But again, we would need to follow any of our process procedures or ordinances around how that money is spent now.
Yeah, so I wrote that we could prepare the RFPs, take questions on the projects, but I think it'd be nice if we had assistance in reviewing the RFPs, putting them out, because I don't know how these go out into the newspaper and all that fun stuff. And then have the select board open the bids, and be present too.
Which we can do that part,
So-
and Carrie and.
Carrie and Lisa can help you with getting the processing stuff together.
Yeah.
And if it needs to be, quick, we just, I think we need to, everything that we put out to bid needs to be out to bid for what, 2 weeks or something? What's our,
And we would review it, if it's in our folder, we would review it and approve it to go out.
Yeah.
And then, Carrie, can you to get it out to where it needs to go? I would say.
and then,
Yeah,
and then
we
if we
included those costs in our grant agreement, for posting, it's like a general
Okay,
sort of roundup, if there's an extra $500, we bumped it up so to include posting costs and things like that.
okay.
The immediate work that I thought, we haven't really talked about this as a team because we didn't meet, we're supposed to meet tonight. The immediate work that I think should go out to bid is the survey of the stump dump and the GMP property. The culvert replacements, which hopefully there's still just 8. The trailhead parking area on Little Italy Road, constructing that, relatively minor project, and then the legal work. So I think as a team, we're probably gonna put these RFPs together, or we'll talk about it too.
so for surveying, I don't know how much that costs, but I mean, I think one of the go-arounds there would be, I wouldn't think we need to put that out to bid. I mean, I would see if Nate could do it. I mean, I don't
The
know.
stump dump has like a lot of bends, and I talked to one surveyor who was surveying on Lakeside Drive, and he gave me a rough dollar amount of $10,000.
So, yeah, so I mean, again, like, depending on the project.
$10,000 to
I
survey?
would love for it to be less.
So let me
It's
back
not
up.
that complicated, how can it be $10,000?
So what are we proposing to do at the stump dump? Right, we're gonna put a parking area in there, right? That's the plan.
Yeah, and then we need a survey for the master plan for what the future of the stump dump holds, right? Is it, the stump dump is this multi-use property. We've got a recreational property, the Green Mountain Power property is now gonna be in a recreation, public use. So it's really, there's a park / some sort of way to make that into a gateway to the town, right, to the village. So the stump dump, and they're aware that the stump dump has all these different purposes here in town. Emergency management, highway department storage, I made it clear that it's not just gonna be a park.
Right.
But we need a survey for that,
So what I'm trying to say is just because of what we've done with the infrastructure project, I think it may be worthwhile to see if Nate has the bandwidth to help from an engineering standpoint, because he has contacts with surveyors. He could help you lay that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, again, because he's been a town, we're contracting him now for the project we're working on. He may even have recommendations, even if we don't contract him for it, right?
Yeah.
He may have recommendations on who to work with.
Yeah.
But, I think he would be a good place to start and get like a proposal from him on what the engineering cost would be for what we're proposing for that space.
Yep.
Because then he can take, like, I know you've got a design from Norwich for a bridge, and
I didn't get that. I don't know what happened. Those students kind of just
But-
fell off.
but anyway, he can help with
On Wednesday through Sunday.
design, if there need to be like test holes, he can help you to look at the technical aspects of all of that.
Yeah.
So Nate Sigard would be
So that's a good place to start for the concept master plan. The survey we could split up, like here, survey Green Mountain Power property, that's gonna be relatively inexpensive. Survey, the stump dumps and parts added and subtracted to it over the years. And I think Carrie and I looked, this is probably like 2 or 3 years ago when we were preparing the grant, and there just wasn't a real survey in the land records, I think. And then the concept master plan, they want a survey so they know what they're working with for a property.
Right.
But we could split it up between the two
Which,
properties.
again, I think that's what Nate can help with.
Yeah.
And maybe connect you with, and he's been really good with what we've done with the drainage project, that he may be able to give you some recommendations on how to get all those things logistically accomplished, and then, you know, from a payment standpoint, as if he's available for us to contract for that work. I don't know, do we need to put that out to a bid? I mean, he's our,
I mean, I think you've been in contact with Nate, right? You've been the contact person from town.
for the drainage project,
Yeah.
between me and Lisa.
Yeah. I think etiquette wise, it should be you and
Yep.
Lisa that calls him.
Okay,
Not Mike out of the blue saying, hey, I'm from Groton. Then reach out and see if he does have bandwidth for it.
Yeah.
Or I'm sure he would be able to point you in the right direction.
I think on our grant agreement, we said we'd abide by the town purchasing policy, you know, that type of thing. So we just have to follow our policy. I think there's a couple other goalposts in there, but nothing that really jumped out as like, whoa, it was a big restriction on us. The legal work, should I prepare an RFP for that? Do we want to go with our town attorney to do that? I don't know if he's a real estate lawyer.
No,
I think so.
I would,
Yeah,
I think if it's time sensitive, I mean, you can most certainly reach out. We can try to reach out to him.
I wouldn't
would say
even
at this
bother
point-
reaching out.
Not if it's time sensitive.
Yeah,
He's,
well, I mean, I guess at this point, there's questions as to whether he.
I don't even know what
Doing
he's
stuff for
doing
us.
anymore, so we need to
Yeah,
find,
Jeff Taylor,
Yeah,
Jeff Taylor is
I
the,
mean, he's super swamped too, like the only one in the area.
Real estate lawyers that are real estate
Like,
law.
yeah, I mean, there's a couple in Barry that I've worked with on property transactions, with the state, and so there's definitely a pool of them out there. It's just strange you don't see many RFPs for legal work, you know, it's usually professional services.
yeah, not simply an RFP, but, you know, just putting a bid.
Yeah, we're gonna send this basically direct to several real estate lawyers and say, you know,
Yeah.
please provide a bid. We haven't posted like our usual, I'm sure. But I was thinking we'd just send it direct.
Yeah.
It's a good job for someone, there was a bunch of money in there for it, so. And again, anything that's cheaper than what we put in, we can actually then regrade more of the rail bed. So our goal is to make this cheap, and then, I think they gave us like a 10%, maybe I didn't tell you guys this, there's categories for everything. If we can go under 10% over, you know, it's like, there's allowances for us to spend more and things like that.
Yeah, that's good, that's awesome.
So,
okay.
immediate stuff you're gonna see probably, I think Gary's got a RFP for the culverts prepared. I've got one for land surveying prepared, but I think I'll send it to you first, so you can see what I'm asking for. I've never done an RFP for land surveying before, so I have no idea what their job entails. I'm like, I want a thing for the town records and, you know.
Yeah, you might get replies back, what is it?
What is it?
Yeah, I mean, again, survey, I mean, just with what Mike, or what Nate did with surveying without here, I mean, it depends on what you need.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need pilot holes to find bedrock or that, like that, I don't know that we need to go in that depth, but, you know, all of those things are.
We're doing environmental testing on the Green Mountain Power property where the transformers were located. I've already located where they were because they were on rail train tracks right in them, and they're there, still there. Green Mountain Power's agreed for me to go do that. That's gonna be like a roughly $500 expense. I'm just doing it myself. I'm not hiring anyone to do that. So, and that would be, I don't know how we do that. Do we have a lab like that we have any sort of relationship with? Do we have a lab? Do we collect samples for anything here?
My guess would be UVM.
Lab,
No, be the closest.
It would be probably like a commercial lab, like Endyne in Burlington. And it's gonna, you know, it'll be like either we set up an account with them, or if we have a purchasing card, just charge it, you know, when we drop the samples off type of thing, where they call in and it's whatever it is. That's an easy one. That one's an easy one. But I think I got my questions answered for now. I'll just say that after the immediate work we put out to bid, then the big ones are the rail bed repair, which we're planning for next year. The master plan. Well, I wrote that twice. And the master plan.
Okay.
Mike, have you been down around bed since?
No. I've had a handful of hysterical people with oil tanks in their basement flooded and
Yeah.
no, that's why I've been running out on phone.
Yeah, I was gonna go out today, but I got caught up with just property cleanup stuff.
Knock on wood, traditionally that holds up pretty good.
Yeah,
The state side didn't.
Not really.
Oh, no.
and there is a statewide message too that I saw, this was a day ago,
For
to
the-
stay off the trails.
The state-owned ones.
Yeah, stay off the state rail trails right now.
Yeah. The Depot
All that
Brook,
money they spent on the rail trail.
yeah, the Depot Brook culvert is really in rough shape. But it probably looked just like that after I didn't live here then. And then there's a whole washout on the other side of Lakeside Drive, on the railbed.
Okay, thank you.
You had it.
There's a lot. I need a snack now.
Might need water.
Actually, I have to go call people about water.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, man. Infrastructure project updates.
Okay, the only thing I have is, that Zach and I both got the assessment back from UVM, and then Nate called me and emailed both of us, Zach, about the assessment, and it's basically saying that this project is along Mill Street and not on property owner's property, except, we need one easement for consolidated property, consolidated communication property. So his biggest concern right now is Nate's not responding, getting any response from Gavin whatsoever.
So-
And this needs to get started ASAP.
And I've heard that Gavin is pretty much not practicing law now, and he has somebody else that's supposed to be taking over, but
He went and got a different job.
Yeah, Sean
so
left.
I don't know that anything's even happening anymore.
I think we're to the point where
We need to find,
of concern that we need to probably find.
Do you need that help find a new town attorney, or do we got one in our back pocket that reach out to Reigate Beecham, see what they're using?
Yeah.
I think it's time we need to find a new town attorney.
Because he said this is gonna take a while to get this easement, because they're a corporation, so it
So-
needs to get going.
So I don't know where we look, but
We have the blueberries.
Well,
I've
leads
left-
of cities and towns.
I've left
have
messages
a lot
with Gavin, he never returns a phone call or anything, so I'm assuming he's,
Yeah.
Same in the email, and
and my mother said that he I don't think he's practicing it anymore, so I think we better.
So, okay,
Oh,
so
nice,
we'll
they
have
got
to
water or
contact
I
other
know.
towns and see what they use, who
Yeah.
they use, and then maybe go from there.
well,
Okay,
and I think maybe for this, we can we try to, contract out at least just to get this easement done, and
Right.
if that seemingly goes well, maybe we talk to them about being, the official town attorney.
Okay,
I don't know, what do you think?
all right.
I think that
Well,
sounds fine
that's
to do.
Try something.
We have to do
Start
something.
somewhere.
We gotta do
now we're
something.
gonna do something.
So what Nate needs, done tonight is, what this assessment says, that there may be one more day worth of work than what was originally discussed. So he needs it to be approved that
Another day.
we're okay with them doing one more day work, which costs more money. So,
Yeah.
So what
that's-
is so if the answer is no, then what?
Then the whole project.
Everything is done.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know what to say.
do we need to do that as a motion?
Well, it can't hurt, just so Nate's satisfied.
Move to approve the increase of cost and 1 days of work for the assessment, archaeologic
Yeah.
resources assessment.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
You seconded-
Possible,
You seconded that one, right?
yeah, it was seconded and approved.
possible increase. Possible.
Possibly, yeah.
So I think that's, all I have, the biggest concern with what to do about Gavin, so.
Okay, I think, yeah, we just have to find somebody
All right,
else.
Start going,
Okay.
We should probably keep that on a follow-ups list moving
Yeah.
forward.
okay.
Lawyer. Policies, did we do anything with policies this time?
Okay, so I thought I would have them all ready, but I don't.
That's okay, we could,
So, what I have done is take, VLCT had updated their, personnel policies, I grabbed that template and I put in all our Groton stuff. So there's a few things that need to be tweaked again, so
Okay.
hopefully for the next meeting,
okay, that's fair.
we'll do it.
Because we've talked about that and been over that, and there's been a few things and some
Right.
discussion, and
Yeah.
so that's fair.
So Highway's been talking with us, and I've talked to each of you about them, and so we'll just keep going, but it's not anything tonight.
Okay,
Okay.
open to public and other business.
That gentleman lasted just that long.
Well,
Dan perhaps could speak on the matter, or no?
What he wants is for you as a select board to punish the people next to him.
No,
It's not your job.
And it's not an issue you want to
No.
be involved in.
No, but
Terry
if,
already
we're not-
spoke to
we're
him
not-
about it. He was abrasive with her.
I think the
and I've heard some discussion on this, and the select board is not
No,
getting involved
no,
in any of
no.
this stuff, so,
And I was
That's-
here basically
that's-
to take and
yeah.
buffer that.
Well, it doesn't need to go any further as far, we're not land overseers, people.
I don't want the select board in
So-
my business
What-
Right.
so-
any more than it is
if,
already.
if,
No more than these select board members want to be there.
You're absolutely
So,
right.
there's no more discussion on that.
and then even if there were crimes committed, that's not. the
That's not
select
up
board's
to
Not our problem either.
No,
That needs to go to the state's attorney or the state police or
that's
somebody
another
else.
one of those civil matters.
So whether
Nothing
somebody
to
has
do with
insurance or
crime.
doesn't have insurance, it's not our, it's not our,
Correct.
correct, that's not our deal. So, is that it for other business?
Fair enough.
Okay, so follow-ups, speed limit, speed sign moved to state road, so we done, we're still waiting on another, I'll talk to James,
About the,
about moving, we need the study from the other way, so I'll call him. Gym light covers, have those been installed or anything happened with that?
No.
Where are we at with that? Ben was gonna do it, but
I
he
need
needed
someone to do
help.
it.
Need somebody,
Couple people.
team of 2 to do it.
I'll come down Sunday. What are you doing Sunday? I'm golfing Saturday, but Sunday it's gonna be raining. We'll come
We're
down
doing
and
the
do it.
24th after the
That's right. Well, we just
PTA
get,
meeting.
that's it,
I'll go up
yeah.
there.
We'll all go up there together. Yeah,
What about it if we don't get it done?
sure.
Plan on doing it then.
Okay,
As long as
Sunday,
it's done before basketball starts.
2 select board members,
Oh, it's like-
do lights.
I like that too, Zach and Tristan.
I'm working Saturday, and I don't like it, and I don't know what I'm doing Sunday.
So I think the lead sinker collection tube is all set.
Oh, did you,
It's where, I met with, Jessica.
okay,
Yeah, I met with her. All that's good. I talked to her. I'm probably gonna buy some signs myself to put up in that area, like some leave no trace type signs to put up back in that, where that, kind of on that pathway and stuff. Just because, I mean, right there,
What do you need the signs to say? Because we have a thing with the jail that prints
well, I was
out
gonna
pretty
buy
cheap.
one.
we have
Amazon.
friends that are in jail and they.
I was gonna buy them off of Amazon for like $15. They're leave no trace.
They're stamping them every day.
So, I mean, it's fine, it's not a lot of money, and I feel like it would be good messaging to put out there, but, I did talk to Jessica about, not a can of worms, it really needs to be opened, but, there is concerns about where she wants to put this, the tube, that trail that goes back over to where the dam is, there's a fire pit there, and there are people that camp there regularly. So, you know, the question, if somebody's on a trail, like the Cross Vermont Trail, and they spend the night there in a tent, is that permissible or not? Then she also mentioned that last year there was somebody that was there for multiple weeks camped out there, so. I told her it's a monitor it situation, and we'll deal with that later, but I just felt like what they're doing for the tube and some of the messaging there, plus they're gonna put some additional education up, but putting some, you know, additional metal leave no trace type signs to educate people on, you know, taking out what you bring so that, you know, a little bit beyond just fishing tackle, but, you know, that, and, you know, that being said, like 3 days before we met, I was out there and there was a pile of trash, so, you know.
Which I don't know.
That's all went down past Tristan's house there a couple days ago.
Yeah, I picked it
No,
up.
one of the maintenance folks from Ricker Pond Campground came down and picked it all up.
If anything like that comes again, there's a lady up at the state forest.
Yeah.
Is that big deer?
Very nice lady, but sure she'd be happy to come down and pick up the garbage in the state forest.
Okay, well, thanks, and, that's good on the sinker thing and all that stuff. What about setting an agenda and stuff for select boarding on August 2nd?
This it's August 2nd, right? That was the next meeting?
I don't know.
It's first of July, first Tuesday in August.
On the first Tuesday.
I thought it was September 2nd.
Thursday at 6:30 like they've always been.
What?
Maybe starting next March.
It's the second.
It's second. Yeah.
That's fine, Thursday's fine. I won't be here Thursday, but that's good.
Wednesday is second at 6.
Okay, yeah, so anyways, agenda, so I think we've kind of talked about the agenda, we're gonna finish up the policy, personnel policy, and, we have some follow-up things on here, but other than that, is there anything new that we need to address for that meeting?
I don't think so, just sign the orders, there's.
Okay, so,
Did you sign all this yet?
no, well, we can, take a motion to adjourn and then sign orders.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. I signed it.
I'll say.
I second it. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.